Hello? Yeah, welcome to the brakes, yeah. It's kind of like that, yeah. I don't know, I think it's pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, there's no admission. I thought there'd be well, there is a ticket office there, but it's kind of closed, so that's kind of interesting. And here's the memorial. Yeah, it's a memorial. And we start shredding minuscule ants. Well, I could, but I don't know. Probably wouldn't actually matter because no one's going to understand it anyway. But 1914, 1918, was that World War One? That sounds like World War One. Is that correct? In that time bracket. And then World War Two was late 1930s. I think, but Barron's is not actually a history student at all, so I'm just going from observation. Okay, and so these are the people that served in World War One. Again, I'm just kind of piecing things together. What is? I don't even know the significance of this arc anyway. So, but it is pretty impressive, isn't it? Like just the way it's kind of just so big. Like it's just in the middle of middle of a city, and you just got cars. There's just chaos, traffic, and then you just got this arc, and it's just massive. So I don't know. I guess it's some sort of war memorial, and that was they had the 1418. I'm assuming World War One, and there were candles and flowers. So I'm just putting things together, but I could be completely off track. It makes sense. Okay, so it's just a Judah Palm. Yeah, it was interesting. So I was just was there for almost a couple of hours, talking to one of the head coaches. In fact, he used to live with Rob Fahey, apparently, in the UK. So quite an established player himself. And of course, yes, Barron did see Rob Fahey play a while back at the Australian Open and just completely dominated. Apparently, there's a predecessor to the Royal Tennis. There's variations going back. It could just be a bit problematic if I start to trace the whole history. Yes, it would be interesting, but I don't know. I'm going to have time to be tracing out the whole history. And at the end of the day, it's Judah palm of the hand. So maybe you look at the courts played with the hand, or were they played over a net? Were they played against a wall? I don't know if anyone's really traced out that history. Are there any courts, original courts, prior to the Royal Cup where they were playing against the wall? I don't know. Certainly the oldest the oldest played today or kept is, of course, the Falkland Palace in Edinburgh, Scotland. Barron not going there. Barron's going to a palace just out of Adipati probably the next couple of days, which will be kind of interesting. But I guess there aren't that many Royal Tennis courts. Apparently, I don't know, Wikipedia hasn't picked up on everything, so there's variations of the Royal Tennis again, so I don't know. Anyway, the paddle tennis is a new kid anyway. Yes, there's pickleball, but paddle tennis, new kid. Maybe a game of paddle tennis somewhere. But again, I don't know. But anyway, at the Arc de Triomphe, and then I'm going to go to the Tour Eiffel. So yeah, so Eiffel Tower is actually Tour Eiffel apparently. So that's the plan for the day. Got to do some laundry. In fact, there it is there. Hang on, let's just do a rear. That's it there. yeah, that's the top of the tower. So now you can go up the tower. Well, Barron did that on the last trip. It's a bit of a hike. Yeah, you can get a lift, but yeah, you got to pay for the lift. It could be cheaper just to walk up. So I don't know. Maybe Barron won't bother because I have been up the tower, so it doesn't really make sense. But I guess you get a bit of a view. I guess you could live stream hiking the tower. I don't know. It becomes problematic. But anyway, there's a tower in the background. Certainly worth a visit. So the top 5: Sydney, Tokyo, New York, Paris, and of course London. I would maybe throw in Moscow into the mix. Could you throw Moscow, and could you throw a Shanghai? But again, where do you draw a limit? I don't know. What about Dubai? So yeah, I think maybe you have to keep the 5, and of course the French Open in Paris, US Open New York, and Wimbledon London. But notice how the Australian Open's played in Melbourne, not in Sydney. And of course it was played in Melbourne. Sorry, it was played in Sydney. In fact, it rotated between Sydney, I think even Perth as well. But typically Melbourne. So why does Sydney make the top 5, not Melbourne? And should the Australian Open then be played or rotated as something in Sydney? And it's kind of the Australasian Open, so maybe Tokyo if you're to bring in the top 5. So that'd be very interesting indeed. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. And that was Round Breaks.